Hello all you viewers, this is Ben C, and today I'm coming at you with another review for the Ragtag Tool Show. And in this video, basically I'm just going to be going over sort of a revision on my everyday carry tools, starting with my hand tools. One second. Alright, starting with my hand tools. So I don't remember if I went over this in the previous YouTube videos I made on my E.D.C, but this is a sort of a new tool day tool. This is, let's see here, get the old tape measure out. From stem to stern, in total, let's see here, 3 1/4 inches or so. Yeah, about 3 1/4 inches. So, for a comparison, here's my index finger. Come on, focus. My index finger. Yeah, so it's not very big compared to my index finger. This is a utility knife with what's supposed to be a safety, and it sort of is. It's got 3 positions: closed, halfway, and all the way. Now you can replace the blades on these ones, as we saw in the beginning of the video where I took out the screw. It also has the same ability to hold blades in the body of it, similar to the Stanley one. This does not have a retractable blade. But there's that. And then, so that's been kind of with me on my keychain and whatnot. This is the 3/8 hazard fraught ratchet that I've had for years. Currently it's 2020. I've probably had this since 2010 to 2011 or 12. So almost a decade, almost 10 years now. I mean, you can see, hold on a second. Maybe that's better. You can kind of see how much wear has been on this. This has been put through. The metal right here is worn. It's, yeah. And I also have opened it to put to grease it up and stuff. This is a very fine tooth ratchet. It's been through hell and back, and all of its titty bits are still working, even though it's a hazard fraught Pittsburgh Pro. I won't deny this one wasn't such a bad tool, but that's about it. So that's a 3/8 drive one. I'll get that back. We'll get to that in a minute. So we've gone over that ratchet. This is being circulated out for a much better and much nicer ratchet set. The Holy Grail of American Pride, one of the Holy Grails of American Pride, Craftsman. Now, I have 2 of these sets because one of them is SAE Imperial, or US, whatever you want to call it, Imperial, SAE, inch, whatever. This is a 3/8 drive as well, but this Craftsman, so 36 tooth, as you can hear, not as fine click as, there's more teeth in this one, but I mean, I don't mind. I needed a new ratchet set, and I have a couple of Craftsman stuff, and I trust them a lot more than Hazard Fraught, because I can't even tell if this right here is metal. The handle is metal. So basically, it's probably it's most likely plastique all the way through. And if that's the case, I've basically been putting myself at risk of snapping this and getting myself into a position where I can't work, and that's not good. That's not, you want to trust your ratchet. So even though this isn't as fine a tooth, which usually you want a fine tooth ratchet, so it doesn't take as much of a throw, like a swing to move it to the next tooth. I would rather have this than something that I'm, because you're often putting a lot of strain on these, pulling real hard. I do not. This is the SAE Imperial inches, so there's no metric in this set. These set did not come with any of this. This is all it came with. A quick release ratchet, 3/8 quick release ratchet drive, and then 9 sockets going from 3/8 all the way to 7/8. And then, as I said, I've had some Craftsman stuff before, which, for example, this right here is Craftsman 1/4 quarter-inch drive flex shaft, or flex extension shaft. And then these, what is this? This is so pointless. I don't know why anybody would buy these, honestly. It's what's the point of buying an extension that's 3/8 of an inch long? Well, no, not even. That's like a 1/2 inch of of extension. Why? I can maybe see this one, which is about 3/8. No, about. Come on. About 1 inch and 3/4. 1 3/4 inches of extension. I can understand maybe this, but I seriously see no benefit to having a 1/2 inch. There's no. So that, but other than that, and then I have a 3/8 to 1/4 inch drive adapter. So basically, you can put this on a 3/8 drive ratchet, and it'll become a 1/4 inch ratchet, 1/4 inch drive. And then I also have the reverse of this, which would be you put the reverse of this on a 1/4 inch, which would turn it into a 3/8 drive. Now you can see that there's a very large difference in size with these. This is 1/4 inch drive, meaning that this the width and the length are 1/4 inch. This is 3/8 of an inch. So yeah, it would have to be. Yeah, I think so. Maybe not. Basically, there's 3 sizes that I know of. There's 1/4 inch, 3/8, and 1/2 inch, which 1/2 inch is a monstrosity is a monstrous size, which is very rarely used except for in automotive industry and stuff. Maybe some larger, heavier industry stuff, standard stuff, but yeah. I have this because, well, let's be honest, the only times that you ever want to use 2 of these is if you can't find the proper length, and the 2 of these make the same length. So I have these because of that, and this because, well, it's easier than having to go and find a full, and then go into the toolbox and find the entire 1/4 inch drive when it's I just got that, why not just pop it on? Anyways, so there's this. This is the larger size it came with. Smaller size. I've always, as I said, I've had Craftsman before, so for the most part, I trust the company. I do trust their tools. I'll get to these de-wheeled boxes in a second. Here's the Metrique. Let me show you the box, I guess. Whoa. Metrique Craftsman 10-piece Metrique drive, 6.3/8 drive, 36-tooth quick release ratchet. These are all the sizes it comes with. 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 millimeters set. So that is not missing any in between the 10 and the 18. There's nothing missing, which I'm quite glad about that. Due to the fact that this is Imperial fractional, I don't, I mean, obviously I'm sure there's going to be some sizes in between each of these, but either they don't exist for bolts or they are so oddball that it wasn't worth putting them in. Yeah. But this is, I think, for the most part, complete with like nothing inside, nothing between any of these sizes. Now this one came with the same stuff, basically, 9 sockets and a 3/8 drive ratchet. These are Metrique. Now, as you can see, this ratchet drive, they must have either been on Monday or Friday, nearing their coffee break, or suffering from a hangover in China, because there's a slight angle on the dangle. As you can see, they stamped that on crooked. And I'll pull out the other one just as a reference point. This is what it should be, level for the most part. Angle on the dangle. So, yeah, that was fun. That was funny to find out that I saw that. But yeah, there's that. This is, as I said, 10 through 18, 10 millimeter through 18 millimeter. And these are just standard bolts. There's no standard bolt depth. That's my ratchets. Oh, I also have from what I counted, a 12-point socket. That's by Craftsman. It's a 17 millimeter. Now, you might see, if you have like a bunch of random sockets, hobcobbled and everything together, you might see that you have a couple of like these, something similar to this, and then some of the hex drive or hex bolt heads for ratchet sockets. These are for you want to use the right head for the right bolt, a right socket for the right head, because these are meant for 12-point bolts, which is I think more common in automotive, but you will from time to time, if you're a general mechanical person, you will from time to time run into these. So it's good to have like a sort of a backup with these. But that's if you're, constantly doing stuff with wrenches and whatnot. Now getting into loose ratchets, this is SAE Imperial. Oh yes, also my 1/4-inch drive by Workforce. Yeah, Workforce. It's reversible, obviously. U.S. made, Chinesium, Irwin drill adapter bit, Crescent, 11/16 deep drive socket bits, another 7/16 deep drive Chinesium bit. Well, I mean, it's better than some of the other bits I have in here. Multi-bolt Cobalt company, Cobalt brand, universal fit socket, which don't ever use these unless it's like for a 12-point or a 16-point, I think. Yeah, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but another U.S. made, and mixed in with a couple of mostly Chinesium. I've got a couple of good quality ones, and most of them are just Chinesium. But this is all just my treat. Another crescent, some more cobalts. It came in a set. 19 millimeter, I think 12 point again. 12 point 15 millimeter. 12 millimeter, 12 point, I think. So yeah, oh yes, and then Craftsman 13 millimeter hex deep drive socket, and this quarter inch drive. So there we go. Alright, so there's that. Obviously I carry a tape measure on my belt. This is the lock right here. Push this side in so it locks it, and then you push this little button to unlock it. You push on the other side with this little button right here. It's a very good tape measure. It's a 12-footer, but I mean, I don't usually use that often. Made in the U.S. That's one of the reasons I like it. It's good quality. I know it'll survive. I don't know the brand, but if anybody can tell me what the brand is in the comments below, please do. Here's any extra info. I don't know. But yeah, maybe you can find something by using the blade type, maybe, or the model. I don't know. But yeah, that impact driver is still Craftsman C3 Sears Craftsman impact lithium driver, pot style, still the same. Both impact and drill driver are the same. Now I've made some slight adjustments. I've got my number 12 ball peen hammer, which is the only ball peen hammer I own, but it's a good one. I replaced the handle because it had no handle when I got it. It's a nice hefty wood handle. Number 12, I think. These are classified in numbers 10, 12. I think that's the number, but it doesn't do very well on camera. My other change is that my 7-ounce hammer, Stanley hammer, which I don't know what the deal is when people complain about composite handles. I don't mind them. They're not bad. They definitely don't give any vibrations that I've noticed. I mean, I've used these so much that I don't. And when I first used these, there was never really any problem. So I don't know what the deal is, but people I think it's just because they're so stuck up on wood, which is a lot of maintenance. And yes, technically this can decay as well, but I mean, wood is faster and a little bit more dangerous due to the fact that it just needs to get water, slightly start to rot, especially if you're in a heavy industry. One solid swing and the head flies off and smashes somebody on the head. Well, I mean, how likely is that to happen with a reasonably good quality composite handle one? Like, there's no way that this is coming off. But okay, whatever. To each his own. Other than that, for the most part, my E.D.C tool belt carry is the same. Yeah, I reorganized it a little bit here and there. But for the most part, that's it. I also reorganized my power drill, or my power tools, E.D.C. Alrighty here. I still got my drill bit sharpener, Chinesium drill bit sharpener with me. I got my right angle bit, I got my hold on, 1 1/4 inch auger bit for wood. Reorganized this a little bit. I got a stud finder in here. For the most part, that stuff in here is the same, except for I added. I took out. I don't remember what I removed, but basically, I took this. I discovered a while ago when I'm removing slotted screws, which is the actual name for them, not flat head. Flat head means that the head of the screw is flat. Slotted screws are the ones with the area for that, this type of driver. And this is a bladed driver, or I guess you could call this flat head driver, because, I mean, it is flat, but no. I found that as long as the screw head itself fits in this, it's no longer a nightmare to have to use a power tool on them. So just if you have the chance, go out and either get one of these or sort of something like this, and maybe some brass or copper piping, like plumbing pipe, and just slide it over and then, hold it down, whatever, and it'll prevent it from just flying off, and it makes it so much easier, especially if it's very corroded. It won't, yeah. So there's a life hack for you if you deal with a lot of time, if you do a lot of time-delicate or era-specific furniture and woodworking and stuff. This right here hasn't changed. This has just got a few different things in it. That's nothing important. Alright, so with this I have my 3-inch 75mm hold on. I think this is my 3-inch or 75mm ball bearing puller or gear puller, whatever you want to call it, from Hazard Fraught, in my portable, hack and slash bag. Very small bolt cutters that I have locked. Come on, there we go. A couple of box wrenches. A very old and very, I guess, collectible to certain people. Yeah, ignore that train you saw down there, the train set. That's a hope or a dream that will most likely never come to pass. A 10-inch Walworth, made in the U.S. monkey wrench, pipe wrench, whichever you want to call it. Now, with this one, the movable, adjustable head of this is bent. So you can see right here, there's a bit of an angle on this thing. Yeah. But, I mean, other than that and the redneck rough repair, temporary repair with a Allen bolt and a nylock bolt on here, because the pin, I needed to remove this to clean it up, and the pin was, this was bent and I needed it off to fix it. So remove that. Also, the metal spring that is similar to this one right here broke on this side, so I just, shaved it off, cleaned up the edges so it wasn't sharp. And other than that, this is a great little tool. Now here is a Craftsman brand pipe cutter, which this is an older one, but I think it's a pretty good one. It still works very well. I've oiled it a couple of times, but it's fine for the most part. This is basically, when you use, what this is used for is straightening out the end of the pipe that you've cut, because since you are crushing the pipe to force the blade in, you do sort of bend the end of it, sort of, so instead of it being straight, here, hold on. So basically, instead of it being sort of instead of the sides of the walls of the pipe being perpendicular, pretend these are the walls, these two things are the walls of the pipe. Instead of them being perpendicular to each other, I think that's what it is, perpendicular. Yeah, I think, no, not perpendicular, parallel, sorry, parallel, that's what it is, not perpendicular, parallel to each other. They'd sort of be angled, the very edge of it would be angled in like this, rather than straight like this. So you'd push this out and sort of ream the edges out just straight and clean up the edges a little bit. That also removes the burr on the edge. Other than that, yeah, this is a good little tool. And then finally, I have some hand tools. This is a Crescent, 14mm Crescent, 17mm and 15mm Great Neck, forged Taiwan, 5/8 box wrench. So a lot of the times people will call these, I don't know, there's like 7 names for them. I've always called these type box wrenches because these are the most common, and I don't feel that when people call this kind of a wrench a box wrench, it's just like it's a double open end wrench is what it should be called, because both ends are open. This is a box wrench. Same with this. This is a open end wrench. It's a box wrench. But, I mean, that's just my thoughts. So here's a Craftsman 9/16 quarter inch. No, sorry, half inch. And then a companion 11mm Craftsman 13mm box wrench. As I said, I got some Craftsman stuff and I trust them. So quickly taking a break and going back to the utility knife, Ace Hardware. These, at least in my area where I found it, it is $1.99 to $2. So if you need a utility knife or something for dirt cheap and that you can get blades for reasonably easy, $2 for this, and like, I don't know, maybe $5 for the blades. That's $7. Whereas if you got the full size one, probably be around 10, 15, depending on which one you got. Probably at minimum, the tool itself would be $10 maybe, $9 and something cents. and the blades themselves for those are like $5, so that would be $15 to $20 depending on which one you got, as I said. So, and this is keychain, this is portable, it's easy to carry, it's got multiple settings. I don't see any downside to this, as long as you don't, take it off your keychain and leave it off, If you need to take it off your keychain, just make sure to put it back on. This is my second one that I've gotten, so, yeah. I also have changed my silver toolbox to spare tools or extra supply tools, excess supply, and sort of random knick-knack stuff. A vintage quarter-inch ratchet set, spare, I think 2-inch, 2-inch socket drill driver bits. 1-inch drill driver bits, a couple of 6-footer keychain tape measures. Actually, I should probably add one of those to my keychain as well. Oh, there we go. Fap off drill index. I don't think that most of these are no longer fap off. I think over time they wore out. This was my father's, not my father's, my grandfather's. Brookstone screwdriver. I can't remember what that kind was called. It was a yellow one that was first released. That was as seen on TV. I had one of those. I don't remember what happened to it, but yeah. Here's my main toolbox. My steel wire brush, copper wire brush, or brass wire brush, I think, and then the nylon wire brush right there. These are special. I use these for ball bearing pullers, my ball bearing pullers, because sometimes the head, which is not at the proper design, biohazard fraught, so obviously it's not going to be the greatest to use, so they're not bad though. I use these as like, those are helpful. Ratcheting screwdriver, needle nose, smaller needle nose, some loose, a couple of loose Allen wrenches that I don't have spots for in these, and a Torx, a T6 driver. It's not very big. And then a circuit tester, usually for automotive stuff, but yeah. Some more hobby snips, some very sharp, much sharper hobby snips. Hacksaw, I think that's what it is, a hacksaw handle, blade handle. Staple for a staple gun. Thermometer, infrared thermometer. Ethernet, landline, and I don't know what the other one. 4-pin Ethernet, 8-pin and 6-pin crimper, basically for phone, like the landline and stuff. I'm sure most people nowadays don't even know what I'm talking about. They're like, what is a landline? Basically, landline was before they had cell phones that had no wires attached to them. You used to have a giant box, and you used to carry it around if you wanted to go to another location. This is a landline telephone. This is a rotary phone. This uses a 4-pin style, which is landline. This is what the connector looks like. Yeah, you used to have to. Actually, no, this is not tech stuff. This is tool stuff. Sorry about that. So there's that. Some bungees, some bigger, more ballsy bearing pullers. Staple gun that's empty, so it don't staple my hand. Some clamps. Some of my some 3-in-1 lubricant. Some files, and that's about it. Maybe a right angle ruler. Some sort of heavy-duty leather work gloves, multimeter, Craftsman shop vac, Milwaukee heat gun. I'm not sure if that's Milwaukee, the current 2020 tool company from Milwaukee or not, but let's see here. Craftsman belt sander, 3 by 21 inch belt sander. Pros kit, 20 watt, 40 watt soldering iron. Black & Decker pecker wrecker, rotary tool, aka a Dremel. Even though that's a brand name, it's sort of infamous, so that basically everybody calls something like this a Dremel. Unless you've been living under a rock for 1,000 years. Yes, and one of the last things, a project that I've been working on for a while now, it is the U.S. American-made Keystone USA Buffalo, New York 12-inch Saskatchewan spanner wrench. You can see why I need to repair it. Yeah, I've got to make a new worm drive and or worm whatever. Yeah, so that's interesting that'll be interesting. But yeah, other than that, that's all. Please like, share, subscribe, and do go check out my other channel. It's called Kirby Lover Eye. It's where I discuss my other hobby, one of my other hobbies, collecting vacuums. Thanks for watching. Bye.